All right, folks, we're back at the homestead in the kitchen, and I've already went around and showed you the outside. And my cousin Teresa has showed up, and she's my first cousin, and she has got a lot of history in this house too. We're going to walk around and talk about the house, and we're just going to let everybody just ride along with us while we're talking and reminiscing. I feel like everybody would enjoy that.
I said I remember when this was the dining room and that was the kitchen, and there was a door right there.
Yeah.
And Granny always did her ironing in here in the dining room.
I remember when this was the dining area too, and when this wall was here, the separation between the kitchen and the dining area, the dining area was really small.
It was very small.
And the kitchen was really small. And so that's what made me, I was scared of the kitchen when I was a little boy. They made me scared of it because they told me it was hot in there and it would burn, and it was so dark in there. And it was dark because that's what it looked like, right, with all the smoke and stuff on it. And there was not light in there. This was way back in the mid 1900s. There was no light in there like there is now. If you had a 100-watt light bulb, you were doing good in the country back then.
Remember, or am I remembering wrong? Before the heater that sat there, there was a stove, a cast iron stove.
Yeah, there was a cast iron stove set there that had burners that you could take.
We would get up in the mornings and come over here to this stove and back up to it to warm up. Remember that? You remember that?
I remember. Now this was after, I think it was after the separation was done. I can't remember. You're going back a lot of years on this old man. It was part of my job to go get the wood. I couldn't chop it. I wasn't old enough to chop it, but it was part of my job to tote the wood in here and fill the wood box up so we'd have wood to burn. And I would sit around there at night, and being a kid, I'd stick my foot on that potbelly stove, and Granny didn't have to see me. She could smell it. She could smell it. Boy, get your foot off that stove.
I remember that. And then the heater, when they went to the heater.
Went to an oil heater next.
To the oil heater, and that blower on it felt so good.
So good.
So good.
Yes.
That one in the house and this one too.
Yeah, I actually slept sometimes in front of that heater in the house, in the big room. I slept in front of that blower on the floor, because that was the warmest part, and my room was so far away from the heater it was cold, and so I'd sleep there sometime when it was real cold in the wintertime.
Well, before they made the porch room, Carolyn's room, she would sleep in the room that we call Daryl's room,
right?
The freezer room.
The freezer, we call it Sojourner's room.
Sojourner's room.
Or Traveler's room.
Traveler's room.
Yep.
And her bed was in there, and I would sleep with her, and we'd cuddle up, and we'd have a pile of blankets on us, and we'd.
Yeah. I remember I had a feather bed in my bedroom.
Back there.
Yeah, there was a feather bed in there.
Behind that corner.
And it would be so cold when I went in there to get in it. But after you were in it a few minutes, you'd warm right up.
Right.
But yeah, that was, I wish we could call back on those days. I was showing everybody earlier these beautiful floors, and we were going to do everything we can to save these.
Is this a 12-inch?
Some of them were 12 and some of them were 10, and we found some of them a little bit bigger than that.
Look at that one. I bet that's...
Okay. So we're back to reminiscing and talking about the old house and all the things. There's Mr. Caden again.
I remember when the door was there, because Granny...
I just can't remember that.
Granny had you a birthday party in the front yard.
But that door got closed in pretty quick. It wasn't there much.
That's the only memory I have of that door, was for your party that day.
I just remember it just briefly.
And when the door was here, she had it might be the cabinet that I've got now.
It could be.
That set right there.
Could be.
That Hoosier cabinet.
Yeah. Can you see what's going over there?
Something for water. Oh, ice maker water line. That's what that is.
Yeah, we're changing things around a little bit. I got to.
Oh yeah.
Got to keep the wife happy. So. Because
the refrigerator always sat in the living portion of the room.
Yeah. Ned said, I don't want a refrigerator in my She wanted to move the living area and just have all this kitchen. And we talked about turning the kitchen around and not having it, and having the kitchen here and having the living area here. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to keep it as much original as we could.
Right.
And so that's the reason that I did that. And I hope everyone knows, family and just YouTube people, that knows that fireplace and that oven was not original to this house. That is something that I wanted, and when I had to build them back because we moved the house, it's just something that I wanted to add. And you've already seen in the earlier videos that there's a lot of historic houses that had a beehive oven, and I wanted to put one, but I couldn't do it the way I wanted to because I wanted to save those windows. But we made it work anyways. But
what are those beams right there for?
There used to be, Teresa's asking what these beams are that are right up here. And you see that spot in the ceiling up there? Mm-hmm. And I do remember that. They used to be just really small chimney here.
Okay.
And that is just really small.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't know where that was, what it was for, where it was probably for the stove, a cook stove. I can't hardly remember, but I do remember the chimney being there. And that never got any wood put back, and so that is just the underside of the chimney. What we're going to do is we're going to save these beams right here, the not rafters, but I guess joists you call ceiling joists. I don't know if that's the right word, but we're going to save those. And what we're going to do, and I hated to do that, but my wife and son and me too, we want to leave those exposed. We're going to leave them exposed, dirt dauber nest and all, so you can see them.
Yes.
And we really wanted to leave all the rest of the ceiling exposed, but you got to have some kind of insulation. So what we have come up with, folks, I need a drum roll, but I don't have one. What we're going to do is we're going to spray closed cell insulation right up under the ceiling, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take some barn wood, and that is going to serve as the ceiling for the kitchen. We're taking the wood that we saved from tearing down the barn, and that's what's going up there. And you'll get to see these beams right here when we're finished. Dirt dauber nest and all, we're not going to do anything to them. We're not going to clean them. We're not going to, well, we might knock the dust off of them, but we're not pressure washing them. We're not doing any of that to them. We're just going to save them just as they were. And I just seen something that I have never seen before, and I'm hoping that you can see that hole right there. And there's actually, looks like there's four holes in there. I don't know what those holes were for, but I am going to take a guess, and I'm going to say that was for quilting, when they had quilting. I don't see the other one. I don't know where the other one would be, but that board was added to the original beam that is up there, and I'm going to say that that was for, I've got a quilting rod that my granny had, but that's just me guessing. No documentation or nothing on there, but I would think that that would be quilting, where quilting things, where they did quilting in here in this dining area.
Yes.
So that's the best. I had just seen that just as we were talking right then.
How about that?
This house just keeps right on amazing you.
Keeps giving.
It keeps right on giving. All right, you want to walk through the rest of the house, and I'm going to give you and everybody else, I'll tell everybody what we're going to do. What we're going to do in this room is pretty much, I don't know what it's going to be when it's finished, but we're going to have it as the porch. We're just going to paint these walls. This wall,
You're going to leave this up here.
this wall will go up to there, and it will have a ceiling in here. That's where the ceiling is going to be, and the hot water heater is going to be above that. That's why you see all those pipes up there. So the hot water heater will sit up there. We're going to put a floor up there and have a ceiling. Now, and this wall will go all the way up, but it will stop far as you can see out here on the porches right there. When you step inside the kitchen, this wall, now we're not going to leave this exposed. We're going to have, I don't know, we're still debating on what we're going to have on the walls yet. But it will go all the way up to the peak, and whatever we put on this wall will be all the way, that's what you will see. So that's how it'll stop the separation in there. And We're saving those windows because I want to hear that sound when that door shuts.
Rattling.
I want to hear that rattling. My son Glenn built this step, and we're going to leave that. I think he did a really good job on that, and we're going to leave that.
Look right here.
I've got the plate.
Do you?
I've got the plate.
You know, I gave them that.
Did you?
Uh-huh.
Oh, well, good.
Yeah, I got
So
it.
I've got it. It's out there in my room. I don't know what we're going to do right here with this beam right here. I have no idea. That's a little bit of a tripping hazard right there. So I don't know.
How about a transition strip?
Well, we might do that. I would love to leave that beam because that beam is not axe hewn, but you can see the circular saw marks in it. So it's a little bit new. It's been replaced, it looks like. But
I remember that.
yep. And in here, we're walking in Aunt Cora's room. This right here, I built this fireplace different. The only thing you'll see of the fireplace is from there down.
Right.
All this will have, it'll be covered with some kind of mantle and some kind of backing. We'll fix that up and make that real pretty. We're going to leave this window, Aunt Cora's window. We're going to try to leave that. We're walking into my room, and this is going to be.
Did you didn't widen this?
We did.
I started to say, I don't remember that door being.
No, that door was not that wide, and so to be able to get the washer and dryer in, we had to make that door wider. Well, to start with, we was going to have a side by side, but I think we're going to have a stackable unit here, and we were going to have the toilet and the sink over here, but that's too tight of a space. But this is where my bed used to be, was right here, and this is the shower.
I love this.
Teresa is pointing up to the beadboard ceiling, and this this ceiling is not 200 years old because beadboard only goes back to like the 1870s, 1880s. But the beadboard is original to the house whenever it was put in, and that's what was in the ceiling when I lived here. And we're going to leave that. Now this is just paint. I'm not going to pop it off too much because I promise you it's lead-based paint. But we're going to sand that off, and we're going to leave these original ceilings in here.
This was the corn crib when it was added on.
No, Granny and Pa's room was the corn crib. I have no idea what this particular room was when it was added on, but I've showed everybody before, I think in a previous video, that this is the outside of the house, of the original part of the house. And I'll show you when we go over into the original bathroom that used to be porch, that this, you can see it, and I'll show you why that was the porch. These floors right here are original to the house. Let's go on to the big room, and then we'll work our way back around. And I want to see if Teresa notices something.
I noticed this doorway ain't where it used to be.
What did you say?
This doorway is not where it used to be.
It's not.
Because we walk all over Aunt Cora's bed.
You're standing right where Aunt Cora's bed used to sit. This door was over about 3 or 4 feet from where, and we moved it.
Her bed just fit.
Yeah, her bed, she had a double bed, and it just did fit in there in the corner. But we moved this door over because that's not going to be a bedroom anymore, I don't think.
And this doorway's gone.
Yeah, and there used to be a doorway right there, and that doorway is gone. And I'll show you where that goes, how we got around that in a minute. But we moved this over so we could put our bed back up. I don't know how wide this thing's showing you. So we could get our bed right there. Now, originally, the whole time I lived in this house, there was a bed in this room, but it was a single bed, a twin bed, and it sat facing right here, kind of in the middle of the room. And I don't know about everybody else, but I don't want to sleep on, I love my wife, but I don't want to sleep on a twin bed with her every night.
No.
So we had to change it around a little bit and make it, and we've gotten kind of used to our king bed. So that's what's going back here, and we had to make room. So we moved the door over so we could have our king bed in here. And that is going to be the head of our bed. We're going to be facing this fireplace. We're in the big room right now. This stain on the floor, I'm hoping stays. I don't know where that's a oil stain or whether it come out of a wood heater. I don't know where that's come from, because the whole time I lived in this house, I seen bits and pieces of the floor, but I never seen the whole floor uncovered the way it is now. It always had linoleum on it, and later on in life it had carpet on it over the top of the linoleum.
I would have to wonder if it came from the oil line.
The oil line, I have no idea why it run out there like that. And it could have been just from the chimney itself, from the fireplace, and it come a big rain and it just run out on. I have no idea. But I hope it stays, because I want it to stay.
Oh, it probably will.
Yeah, because it's part of the house.
Now, a whole lot of that top layer.
Now we're still in the big room, and I'm going to take everybody over here to the bathroom. In this bathroom, I just can remember when this room was not a bathroom. And the only reason I really don't even hardly remember the room, I just remember that if you looked out this window, the outhouse used to sit, not, the house has been moved, but if the house was in the original place, the outhouse used to sit right out there.
Yep.
And I never used that outhouse that I know of, but they closed this room in right here and made it a porch. Granny and Pa's room is right here, and that was originally the corn crib, and we talked about that in like my second video when I'm doing a walkthrough of the house. And like I said, that was my bedroom. I have no idea what that room was used for originally, but I do know that my Granny and Pa's bedroom was a corn crib, not when they were sleeping in it, but when it was first built like 200 years ago. But then they closed this in, and the reason that you know that is because that is the outside of the house right here. And if you will look up there, I'm hoping you can see, I don't know how dark it is, but you can see the outside portion of the house even right on up there. So that right there shows you that this was the outside porch of the house, right there. That's how you know that this was a porch originally and not a bathroom. And right here, yes?
When you walked in the bathroom, the sink was here.
Sink was there.
Toilet here.
No. Yeah, sink, toilet, and then a bathtub. Yes. We added on to this room.
Okay.
We took.
Okay, because I'm thinking Granny and Pa's room is awfully little.
Yeah, it was little to start with, but it's even smaller now.
Right.
We got about 18 inches of room, maybe 20 or so inches, and added to the bathroom.
Okay.
And because we wanted to have a regular shower. At our age, we don't want to have to step over to get in a tub, so we're having a regular shower. And we're going to leave. It's going to stay original. That will still be the sink. And but we're actually the toilet is going over here on the outside of the shower, and we'll probably have some kind of little linen closet or something right there. So, but that's what we're wanting to do right here. And I might have talked, this is a electrical panel box right here. This will be covered, but right here in Aunt Cora's room, this is where the steps used to go up. I will show you that in a later video when I compare our house to Governor Charles B. Alcott's house, and you will understand more. But right now, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but that's where his house, that's where the stairs were at. And now we're going over into my Granny and Pa's bedroom. But before I go in, look at that threshold. Just look at it. Oh man, that's precious to me. Now this room right now is probably a 8x8, and it was probably a 8x10 when they had their bed in here.
You know what I remember about this room the most?
What?
Their bed sat here.
Mm-hmm.
In the wintertime, the head of the bed was always on that wall.
Right.
They slept that way.
Yeah.
But in the summertime, they slept this way.
They put
that window open, and they had a big fan in Carolyn's room that would draw the air.
That would draw the air through.
Yeah.
And this right here, original. Remember when the house was first built 200 years ago, it was only the big room in Aunt Cora's room. These rooms were not even the corn crib was not here. So this is the outside original part of the house 200 years ago. So
still standing.
Still standing.
Still standing.
Still here.
Build something today and it'll be gone in 20 years.
And me and my wife, and don't beat me up too bad for this on YouTube, but we just didn't think that we could go in an 8x10, even though grandparents slept here. We just didn't think we could go in an 8 by 10.
They never had it any better. They didn't know.
They didn't know. So, as the old saying is, once you go there, you don't want to go back.
Right.
And so, don't beat me up too bad, but we turned this into a closet. This is going to be our closet. And that's the reason that we robbed some room for the bathroom and made this room a little bigger for our closet. I don't know where you can see or not. I hope you can. Can you see the axe-hewn marks on that beam in the ceiling? I hope you can see that. That is something to look at. Now, yes, there's some new wood up there because we had to, what we call sister those beams, because you can see some of them just had either termite damage or they were not completely eaten up, but felt like we needed to what we call sister them, which means put one right beside of them. And that's why you see the new wood. But the old wood, I hope you can see the axe-hewn marks up there on that beam. We're standing in the original part. When I keep saying 200 years old, we're standing in 200-year-old history right here as we're showing this beam up here. I hope everybody can see that. All right, we're going back into Aunt Cora's room and we're going to talk about what happened here, which means that this is now a door. And if you'll go back and watch the original videos of when I did the walkthrough of the house, it was like my second or third video. This used to be, original was a window to the outside, and that was a porch. But during my whole lifetime, it was like a shell, had shelves in it with tchotchkes. I'm saying that right?
Knickknacks.
Knickknacks is what I've always called them, but I think the modern term is tchotchkes. But knickknacks is what my granny called it, and that's what was always on the shelf.
I still got some of those knickknacks in my
Teresa is saying she still got some. I still got a few of them. I do. And but this door was moved. I don't want to. It was in the big room right there. We moved it and made this window into a door. So you wouldn't have to go through our bedroom to get to this bedroom. Now this was originally a porch. And we had talked about turning it back into a porch, but my wife said we really need that bedroom. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to leave it as a bedroom.
That's the one that the big fan sat in, through the area.
Teresa's saying that window right there is the one that had the fan in it, and it would blow out. And so you open your window just a crack, and it would draw in the cool air from the outside. And when I say cool, if it was 90 degrees outside, it brought in 90-degree air. So it was not, and it was not conditioned. It was still really moist. So, but that's what I was raised in. And if anybody else that's my age, you know what I'm talking about. There was no air conditioner back then. So, but what we're going to do here, I've never really cared for this window. This was not original to the house to start with. So we're doing away with all these windows. This used to be a window right here, folks. But we knew we were going to do something with it. We were not going to save that particular window. So that's the reason it's just boarded over. But we're doing away with these three right here. And what we're going to do, Teresa, is we're going to put a window here because we're going to have a twin bed here. Mm-hmm. And this is where Carolyn's bed was. So we're going to put a regular window here at the head of this twin bed. We're going to leave a place right here for a door, but it's going to be covered over inside and out. If we ever build a porch on the front of the house, we can open that up and we will have a door, have an access door. And then we're going to close this door that's rotten and all that's gone. That door never got used. I bet that door wasn't opened 20 times in my lifetime. That door is going away, and there will be a window put here, and so the windows will be symmetrical. The two windows and the door will be kind of in the center of them in this room. And then there will be a twin bed, probably turned long way here so you can get into the soldier's room or traveler's room. And this
Or freezer room.
It had a freezer, had a long freezer.
Originally Carolyn's room.
It might have been originally Carolyn's room. I slept in here when I was a little boy a little bit because they had bunk beds in here for me, and I wanted to sleep on the top, and I slept on the top, and I rolled off and hit those floors right there. And that might have been the reason I got moved to the other room. But this room, me and Ned are still debating. She wants to have it as a bedroom, and she says everywhere I go I have to have an office. Well, folks, these videos have to get edited somewhere, and each one of these videos takes quite a bit of time to edit, believe it or not. So
this looks like the perfect size
for an office. And what we might do is, if we can make it work with the bed measurements and all that, we don't know yet, we might put a Murphy bed in here.
Have you showed this?
I have, I don't know where I've showed it. I don't know where it's come out on the video or not. Teresa is talking about this door right here. It is original. It's not 200 years old, because remember this was added on. But that door is probably 150 years old.
I would think so.
Yeah, there was more doors in this house than that, but they got gone over time, and I have no idea where they're at. If I did, I would put them back. She wants to show the other side of the door, the latch and stuff that is original to it.
And a skeleton key unlocked.
Yeah, the skeleton key, and then this is the latch. And does that key? Does it lock? No. But is it going to stay on the house? Even this wobbly doorknob? Yes, it's going to stay. But this door frame is going to stay, and this door is going to stay, and the bead board in the ceiling is going to stay.
I don't remember that ceiling being green. Has it?
I have not painted it.
I don't remember that green.
Yeah,
I remember this one.
Yeah, Teresa's talking about the colors. This door has been this color.
The whole room was that color.
Yeah, was the color of the ceiling and the door frame. Now, if you see that is the most professional paint job, if that is not the most professional paint job that you have ever seen, and I'm gonna ask Teresa, who painted that?
Not me.
Who do you think painted it?
You.
No?
Granny.
Granny.
That's some of Bliss's marks right there.
Yep. That's some of her marks right there. She
got tired of waiting on a professional.
Yeah, and what do we call her in the family? Fasty fast.
Fasty fast.
So, does it have to be perfect? No. But did she change the color on it? Yes.
That's what they call me. Fasty.
Did they call you Fasty?
My youngins call me Fasty.
They call you Fasty. Well, you got some of her blood in you. So, Teresa is also asking about this ceiling right here. I don't remember when this. I remember it dark because it's been dark now for years and years. When it got painted this dark green, I cannot tell you. But if y'all will go back and watch my video on telling stories, you will see that my granny, you allowed her to come home from school or work, and she done painted a whole room or painted the cabinets. That's a pretty good walkthrough of the house and showing you each room. I hope everyone has enjoyed. I so much enjoyed my time I got to spend with my cousin Teresa. I don't get to see her as much as I used to, and it was really nice to get to see her and talk about the house and talk about old times. Oh, it just brought back so many memories. I really enjoyed that, and I thank her so much for coming and sharing her memories with us, with me, and with y'all, and with her family. She'll get to pass this on to her family because she has a lot of ties to this house also. But I do thank her for coming. Thank y'all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.